Hi all, welcome to my next Flosstube video. It has been a little while. I did plan to do this last week, even though it was a bit late still. But yeah, I did plan to do this last week, but work were a bit low on staff, so they offered me overtime on Monday. That's the usual day that I do my recording, so yeah, Monday and Tuesday I was in work, so yeah, that's why it's quite a bit later than usual. So yeah, hope you enjoy. So as I've said, I wasn't able to do my Flosstube video last week because of work. They were very short staffed and asked if I could do overtime on Monday and Tuesday, and I'm never one to turn down some extra money, so I said yes. So that scuppered my plans a bit. And then the week before we were actually in Yorkshire, which I will talk about a bit later on, just about the trip. It was really nice. That was me and Josh. It wasn't for anything stitchy, it was just a nice weekend away, so yeah, I will speak about that a bit later. So I thought, even though that we're in the middle of June, I would, well, towards the end of June, I would talk about my May statistics rather than where I am altogether up to now. And then my next video, which I think will be the beginning of June, it'll be like the first week, the Monday into June. I thought that would be best to talk about all of my June statistics. No, it'd be July, the beginning of July. So I thought that would be the best time to catch up with everything and do all my July statistics and kind of get up to the here and now. So the figures that I'm going to speak about today are the May statistics. So they're not going to be kind of the same as where I actually am progress wise. So I'll show you where I am on my stitch along. So obviously I've got all this done, but this was done in June, so that will become in my June video, and I'll insert some pictures of where I actually got to during May for the actual pieces that I worked on. So hopefully that makes sense. So May was a bit of a slow month for me for stitching, to be honest. I mentioned in one of my previous videos that I've been doing a lot of my Warhammer painting, so I was doing quite a bit more of that this month, and stitching kind of took a back seat. So I managed to get, where was it? I'm trying to look on my notepad at where I got. I don't think I wrote it. There it is. 8,146 stitches done in total in May. So it is slacking compared to my other months. I know some people do that in a week. That would be just an absolute dream if I could ever do that many stitches in a week. If it was 10th stitch, full cross, whatever. If I could do that in 1 week, that would be bliss. But no, that was my total for the whole of May. So I only worked on a couple of pieces in May, mainly my Hate Stitch Along and Silver Moon Dragon. The Whip Go that was picked was also for a seasonal piece, which again I'll get onto in a little bit, which was for the Winter Fox. I decided to start that for my seasonal piece for that number for Whip Go, so I'm really happy with that. So yeah, there was only a couple of pieces that I worked on in the entirety of May. So I'll get into the normal statistics first. The Heaven and Earth Stitch Along, I am currently 46.98% through the, I say current instalment, it's not, it's the first 2 instalments. So what we've got available to at the minute, I'm currently 46.98% of the way through, and I've worked it out, and that brings me to 31% of the total 85,000 stitches. I've currently done 26,203 stitches altogether, and I've worked out how many stitches I should be at the current time to make sure it's finished by the end of the year, and I am just over half of that. So it should currently be on 40,412, and I've only done 26,000, so I need to do a lot of catching up to make sure that that is done by the end of the year. I'm still hopeful that I can get it done by the end of the year, but it's more looking like I will try to complete just the 6 pages. At the minute, it's looking like I'm going to struggle even for that, because I've only got one fully completed page at the minute. And I think the way it's looking is I've got my one complete page. I'll show you. So the one complete page was here, and then I think this is another one and another one and then another one. And to be fair, I'll probably get this one done. I don't even know exactly where the pages end, so it's a bit difficult to fully explain. But I'm not even sure if I'll get the 6 pages done by the looks of this. It looks, I mean, I know we're only halfway through the year, but it does look a bit daunting to even say that I'll get 6 pages done. But I am going to persevere, I'm not giving up, and I'm still going to aim for the goal of fully completed at the moment. Hopefully that'll keep my my spirits up into getting that completed. So yeah, that was that one. I did 4,695 stitches on that in May. So one of the other WhipGo numbers that were called was for 2,000 stitches on my Silver Moon Dragon project. I haven't picked that up in a little bit. So I did manage to get that done. Again, this might not include, actually I think this might include, because I don't think this has been picked up at all in June. So I actually think that this is the full progress of May. There are some other colours that are coming in now. You can't really tell. I can't even tell in person. I wanted to make a start on some of the colours so I could get some of this filled in and start to work down. There is quite a bit more black on either side, but I thought if I try to mix it up a little bit, it'll start to fill in more of a picture. The other colour that is currently incorporated is a dark brown. I'm not sure on the number, but it's in this, so you can't even see, I don't think. It's in this star. There's a dark brown against the black, and it was actually quite difficult to stitch because you kind of use I do use other stitches as a little bit of a guideline as to counting, obviously. And it was really difficult to tell where I had done black and where the brown had started, so I couldn't really use it as a gauge of to where I was. So it's actually a little bit difficult at the moment. I'm hoping that it'll get a little bit easier when some more of the colours are incorporated, because there'll be some more yellows and golds coming in a bit further in. I think in one bit in this section there is just one massive chunk of grey, which, to be honest, I know a lot of people, well, it's a bit of both. I know a lot of people like a bit of confetti and a lot of people like block stitching, and I think I'm more for block stitching. I just love being able to just sit there and count how many I need and just count across without having gaps or anything like that. I know some people find it really boring, but I find it really relaxing to just be able to do that. I've got a pixel art type one. I'll put the picture up of that. And I'm not going to start that anytime soon, but I'm really looking forward to actually starting that, because it looks like one of those where you'll just be able to carry on, just count line by line as you want as you go. So I'm quite looking forward to that. I think it's quite a big piece though, so I won't be starting that for a while. Also, I do want to say I'm sorry for the angry face. I'm filming this at midday and the sun has just started coming over the other side of the window. I usually film it a bit earlier in the day, so it's quite bright outside and I don't have a blind. And I apologise for this absolute mess of a mane. I washed my hair this morning, planned to put it in plaits, and it would have already started drying, which I don't like to end up putting it in plaits when it started drying, because it goes in a weird way. and I don't want to put it up because part of it is still wet, so it's just kind of got a mind of its own at the minute. Oh, that was a really nice little curl. Ooh, I wish the rest of it would do that all the time. But yeah, it's a bit of a mess. And I can't get it re-dyed at the minute. So some people have actually said that this looks intentional. So where the bronzy colour, the gold blonde colour has faded into the red, some people have been like, oh, that looks really nice with the blonde into the red. I'm just like, thanks, it's just that I've not been able to dye it, so I'm glad that it looks okay, even though it's completely unintentional. So yeah, that's why this is a bit of a mess at the minute. It seems to be really splitting off as well, on this complete tangent. But some of it seems to just be really splitting off really short. Some people have said that it could be the meds I'm on for my epilepsy, but like that's where that finishes. And that's not even got much of the bleach for the blonde bit on, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Complete tangent though, so yeah, I'll get back on to topic. So I did forget to say as well, I did 2,781 stitches on Silver Moon Dragon in May altogether. So yeah, that's how many I did altogether in May. So I did complete my Whip Go goal, which was 2,000. It was getting towards the end of the month, and I'd already done, I think it was 1,000 on one day at the beginning of the month, and I'd worked on it a bit sporadically through the month. I think I actually mentioned it in my last video, if I'm correct. I had 300 or 400 left to get done by the end of the month, so I just worked on those, and I did obviously get it done by quite a bit, so I'm quite happy with that I got that finished for Whip Go. Still on track to complete all of my Whip Go goals. All of them have been completed in the correct month so far, and I think I'm still on track for June. I've got to check that, and I'll obviously update in my next video. But yeah, I think everything is going okay for that. So the last thing I stitched on in the month was my Winter Fox design. So this was picked up for the seasonal piece in May, for the Whip Go in May, and in May altogether I did 670 stitches for that. I'll have to put a picture up because I think I've left it downstairs, and it would be really easy to pause the video and go and fetch it, but I'm really lazy, and computers and photos are a thing, so I'll just put the picture of the progress that I'm going to do. I've nearly finished the scarf, so what I'm going to do is work on a couple of the parts that are the rest of his body, just so the scarf's got a little bit of a lining, so I can start the back stitch, because I don't want to start the back stitch at the very edge of the scarf, because that's going to obviously, when I start to do the rest of the body and the head, that's not going to look very good with the back stitch. It's going to kind of not sit properly if I don't have some bit more on there. It was nearly a disaster at one point because there was an issue with the colour and the symbol in Pattern Keeper. Something just didn't look right with the colour that was on there. So I was like, right, I'm going to check the pattern out because it doesn't look right. And I'm really glad that something in my brain just told me that something was wrong, because it was wrong. The pattern and the colour weren't correct. So the pattern in the actual like the actual pattern that you mark off, the symbol, sorry, the symbol in the pattern didn't match with the symbol down the side. So when you clicked on the search icon on Pattern Keeper and clicked on that specific symbol, it wasn't the correct symbol that came down the side, so the numbers didn't match up. So I've got to remember when I'm doing that pattern that they aren't correct, and I've got to try and remember which one's the correct one. It's really not difficult. I think I found it really easy to redo it, but I couldn't change the symbol number because when you clicked on it there, other symbols came up. I'm not sure what's happened, but it's not that big a deal. I can change it really easily. Like I can adapt it and see when I'm doing it. It's really easy. It's not a problem. So I just need to keep in mind when I'm doing that's going to be something that's happened. But starting that in May meant that I met my other Whip Go goal of a seasonal piece. I'm hoping to get that done by Christmas, but I haven't really made any progress on it in June. So hopefully, there's only like 3,900 stitches in it all together. So it really shouldn't be an issue for me to get it completed. But there's a lot of back stitch, so I think that's the main thing that's gonna hold me back from it. But hopefully that should be done by the end of, well, by winter, because it'd be really nice to get that done and up and framed for winter. So that would be really, really good. So if you have just come for the stitching, that is everything for today's video. I really appreciate if you could give a like and if you wouldn't mind subscribing. The rest I'm going to talk about in this video is just going to be a bit of life updates, that sort of thing. So yeah, really appreciate you watching that. And if you're interested in those little life updates, just stick around and I'll carry on with those. So yeah, that's been great. So as I say at the beginning of the video, we had a trip up to Yorkshire earlier in the month. It was absolutely lovely. It was just a weekend away for me and Josh. It was really, really nice. We went on the Friday and came back on the Monday, which is why I couldn't film my video on the Monday. We stayed in what was called the Hayloft. It was on Airbnb. It was an absolutely beautiful place to stay. It was on a working farm. And you went in, there was a little tiny little garden area with a barbecue, a little seating area and a hot tub that was wood fueled. So when you get there, they've already stocked up the hot tub for you, so it's ready for you to get in when you get there. We couldn't when we got there just because we had to sort the dog out, and we had to sort a lot of stuff out when we first got there. We got there quite late. It opens from 3:30. Like your reservation can start from 3:30, so that was when it was all ready for, but we didn't get there till about 5 or 6, I think it was. So it was a bit late for us to start getting in the hot tub. But it was really, really nice, and there was a log burn inside. I'll put some pictures up as we go along, just so you can see. The bed was upstairs. You had to go up these little ladders. We were a bit worried because it's the first time with the dog that we've been away, to be honest. We've never been on holiday with her before. We were a bit worried about the drive because it was 4 hours and we weren't sure how she was going to react to being in the car for that long. But I took her out for a long walk beforehand and she was absolutely fine the whole way there. We stopped off once just in case she needed the toilet, and as soon as she got back in, she lay back down. So I was really happy with that. The only thing we were worried about as well is she stays in a crate on a night at home when we come to bed, and we weren't able to bring the crate with us. It didn't fit in the car. So we were a bit worried about leaving her just to her own devices, but you could see her because of where the bed was. It was just on this small mezzanine type thing. I think that's the right word. So you could see her at all times anyway, and there was nothing for us to worry about because she was perfectly fine the whole weekend. There was no issues any time the whole weekend. My main goal for that weekend was to get in that hot tub though, and on Saturday it rained. We couldn't get it set up. It rained and we couldn't get it set up in time to be able to get in. It just took quite a while to get up to the correct temperature for you to be able to stay in. And we weren't able to do it on the Saturday, but I was just like, I don't care what's happening. On Sunday, rain or shine, I am getting in that hot tub. And that's exactly what happened. I think it started raining about 1 o'clock on the afternoon, and me and Josh slept. So he went up at 1 and I stayed up and did some stitching till 3, and neither of us got up until 6 o'clock on the evening, and it stopped raining by then, and it was like, right, I'm setting that hot tub up and I'm getting in. and it was absolutely fantastic. Loved it, so good. Josh planned to have a barbecue as well. Actually, we did end up having a barbecue. He did some like pork ribs on there. He cooked them in the small cooker first and then finished them off on the barbecue. Um, and we had little bits and pieces like that, so it was really nice. So we could walk around with the dog. There was a small town that was about half an hour away, and it was absolutely amazing because on the walk there, you walk through all the fields because it was in the actual farm that we stayed in was in the moors. So it was just fields and trees everywhere, all around you. It was so peaceful. And there was a small walk to the small village. And on the way there, there was this hill, and there were rabbits absolutely everywhere. You'd see one, and you think that was it, and then that would move, and then another thing would move, and then another and another, and there's just rabbits absolutely everywhere. And at the village, there was this little cafe, and we were like, right, we'll have breakfast here. And we were sat outside, and then this little robin, I'm not kidding you, it came straight onto the table next to us. Like, it was on our table right next to us, and it was screaming for food. We gave it a little piece of bread, and it took it off and ate it. And it was like, okay. And it came back and asked for some more. I'm surprised that it didn't care about the dog. Kiri jumped up on the table once, and it flew off, and it still came back afterwards. I was absolutely amazed. It was really nice. Just bear with me, I just need a drink. We went to see How to Train Your Dragon the other day as well, and Josh bought this for me from the cinema. I've never seen the originals, to be fair. This is the first one I've seen, but he bought me this one, so I really love it. It's so cute. But yeah, the trip to Yorkshire was just absolutely amazing. I loved it so much, and it was exactly what I needed, just a nice break from just normal mundane life. So obviously, quite a few weeks ago now, I injured my foot. I was planning for the Race for Life. I was training for the Race for Life and going to the gym quite regularly, and I ended up not being able to because I fell off the curb and hurt my foot. It was quite a bad sprain. I've just started going back. I've only just felt like it's kind of strong enough to go back, and quite disappointed, but it's to be expected. I was doing quite well with the running. I think I was on week 4 when it happened, so I was running for 3 minutes and 5 minutes at a time, and I knew I was going to be bad. So when I went back to week 2, which was 90 seconds of running and 90 seconds of walking. And I sort of changed it. I did 2 minutes of running and 90 seconds of walking, and I couldn't finish the half an hour. I was so disappointed. But it's given me more kind of motivation to try even harder. I still need to make sure that I don't overwork my foot because I can still tell it's not 100% there, but I'm hoping that the running will start to train it up again. It's a bit worrying because my Race for Life is in 3 weeks. So it's like, I need to get this started. I need to get back up and literally running quite soon because I don't want to fail this. I'm still going through with the race no matter what happens, but I just really don't want to fail it. So yeah, I knew that it was going to be bad. So I'm still a bit disappointed in it, but I knew that I wasn't going to be back up to scratch of what I was doing before. But in terms of exercise as well, I went to our normal weekly gaming club on Friday, and everyone there has started, well, not everyone, but a lot of people there have started up Pokemon Go again. So they were like, oh, get it. And I was like, okay. Last time I played it, I looked, was in 2020. So I've got it back again, and we've been really enjoying it. Me and Josh have both got it back. I told my dad what I was doing, and he was just like, oh, you're wasting your time on that. And I went, hold on. I was just like, I actually purposely went on a walk the other day just for Pokemon. I was like, so it's not a waste of time because it's getting exercise in, which I desperately need more of. So I don't care what, if it's helping me get exercise, I don't care what people think. If it allows me catch Pokemon on the way, that's just a bonus. So I've really been enjoying that as well. It's just a silly little snippet to be able to enjoy while you're out and about. It's really difficult while I'm walking the dog though, because I can't throw the balls to catch the Pokemon without my other hand. My hand's not big enough to just do it with one hand. My phone's too big for my hand. So when she's running around and I've got the lead and I'm trying to hold my phone and she's pulling everywhere, it just gets a bit difficult to do. But I've been telling her to just sit and wait while I've been catching them. So anytime I've been actually been able to catch one, I'll be like, wait, sit, hold on, and then I'll be like, okay, go, and she can run back off again. So it's been really enjoyable to do that. So the last thing I have to speak about today is my Warhammer painting. I know it's not, well, obviously not stitching related, but like I said in a previous video, I think I do want to share these on my video every now and then, because it is still something crafty and it's still something I'm really enjoying and I'm really proud of. So I do want to show them off a bit. I've got a lot in my backlog, so we've decided that I need to paint up a certain amount of models before I'm allowed to buy anything to do with it else. I'm not allowed to buy any more models, and I've made a start on one of my armies. I've got these robots that are new to the army. They're not completely finished yet, but hopefully it focuses. They're not completely finished, but I'm really, really proud of the progress I've made on them. I've got to do an oil wash on them and then do their bases, but after that they will all be completed. So I'm really happy with that, and then I'll be able to carry on with some of the other models. We have a painting competition at the end of July at the gaming club that I'll go to. So you get different categories, and I'm going to put these in, and there's a monster category as well, which is going to be my next paint up. So I'm hoping to get these done relatively quick, mainly just so I can start buying some more models, but I'm really, really proud of it. I actually took a photo. What I wanted to do was take a photo of everything that I wanted to paint as part of my challenge, and then at the end I could see what I've gone from to what's been completed. But Josh said, why don't you take a photo of everything that you've got for that specific army. So these were for my 1,000 Suns for Warhammer 40k, and we got everything out that was part of that army. I'll put a picture up, and that's what I'm going to be pointing. So there's 4,000 points worth there, and I'll be painting 2,000 points worth. So at least I can play a full 2,000 point game. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to doing this challenge. Halfway through I'll probably be thinking, why did I start this? Now I can't buy anything, I'm not going to finish it by the end of the year, whatever. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm glad to get back into painting for it. So I'm really happy with that. So that's everything I've got to discuss with you today. I know it's been a bit of a ramble, mainly not about stitching. Hope you haven't minded. Obviously, if you're still here, thank you very much for watching this far. I should have a video up, like I say, the beginning of June, to actually discuss my June. I've done it again. The beginning of July to discuss my June statistics, and then hopefully we can keep it in more regular uploads like it's supposed to be. So fingers crossed that'll happen. But yeah, if any of you are interested in anything that I've shown, please leave a comment below. If you've got anything that you want to speak about, again, just please leave a comment. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed and hope you have a lovely day and a lovely week. So yeah, happy stitching. Bye.